Hi, everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal, and it's Sunday afternoon, which means it's time for our Soul Sunday broadcast. And for those of you who might be new or watching this on the replay for the first time, welcome. And just know that we do 3 broadcasts a week. Friday lunchtime, we learn something and we call it our skills broadcast. Friday evening, we do a 7 o'clock Friday evening at Pacific time, because that's where I live. We do a humor one, and then this one on a Sunday afternoon we do, which we call our Soul Sunday broadcast. And as you will hear, we try and keep the tone down a little bit and just relax a little bit more. Before I get into it, though, I just wanted to let you know that the subject for today, I'm going to be talking through some quotes and things, but the subject for today's Soul Sunday is being grounded. And if you don't learn how to ground yourself in the present moment, you will live like a slave to your emotions rather than a master of them. And some of you already know that feeling, right? Some of you suffer from anxiety or, those sort of things. And what you will come to discover, as a lot of my Dear Mama Sal viewers have come to discover, is that really it is as simple as staying in the present. If you can ground yourself in the present, not worry about tomorrow. I find that a lot of people with anxiety spend all their life, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? Well, what if it doesn't? Be happy with today, because none of us know that we're going to have a tomorrow. And so, hi, Jody, good to see you. One of the things I wanted to talk about is I have already started to notice some problems with getting fruit. And I just would like to know from the viewers, and maybe if you're listening to this on the replay, let me know as well. I have found, last week, I found that my strawberries, actually, this was yesterday, my strawberries looked like they'd been on the shelf too long, and the grapes that I normally get every week were not available. And so I wondered whether any of you are also beginning to find that as well. So my recommendation in terms of our, we have this little be prepared, not scared. I'm starting to really think about getting more frozen fruits. Frozen strawberries are easy enough to get at the moment, so I'm going to keep buying those, because who knows. By the way, my strawberries were so bad that I literally had to cut up most of them and freeze them immediately, because they wouldn't have made it to another day. And I would say I probably lost about at least a third just in that process. They were going that fast. So it's Bob Dylan's birthday today, so happy birthday, Bob. And for those of you who are old enough to remember his music, which I surely do. Yeah. So the times, they are changing, and we're right back there again. Oh, interesting. Jody, first of all, Jeannie is saying, I've been buying frozen strawberries, but I've got nice fresh grapes and bananas. Wow, aren't you lucky? And Jody is saying, we've had a problem finding fruit. Berries we bought looked okay on top, but they were moldy underneath on day one. Yes. I love gala apples as well. I'm glad that you enjoy them. Actually, I used to, when I found those, I went, wow, that is the apple for me. Nice and crisp and great taste. It had the crispness, that's not easy to say, of a Granny Smith, but the taste of, a much sweeter taste. So I love them as well. Now, Jody, just before we get into this grounding thing, Jody, I managed to get the egg replacer. And for those of you who don't know, there is such a thing as an egg replacer. Now, what I wanted to, hi Sandy, what I wanted to explain to you all, this isn't dried egg. That's not what it is. It's actually, I was looking at what's in it without my glasses on. It has potato starch, tapioca flour, that's also pretty starchy, baking soda, and psyllium husk fiber. Now, we know we like that. But here is the thing. You can use 1 tablespoon of this to 2 tablespoons of water, and it'll be the equivalent of an egg if you're baking. Now, my question to Jody is, Jody, do you put this in your bread? And if so, I was thinking that would be a really good thing to put into your bread if it does the same work as an egg. However, here's the reason that I got it with Jody's suggestion, is because I look at the things, how often do I actually eat an egg? Not very often. And I do love my omega-3 type egg. So, but for the rest of the time, I'm using eggs in baking. So you imagine this must be not too bad. You haven't tried it in bread. You can also use flax or chia as a replacement in baking. Okay, Sandy, you're going to write to me, if you wouldn't mind, at DearMamaSal@gmail.com and tell me more about that so I can share it with the viewers. All right, so that was the one thing I wanted to talk about. Wait, there was more. Don't go anywhere. We're getting to the grounding. Let me tell you the difference. This packet I thought was pretty expensive at $7 Canadian, until I realized that 1 tablespoon is equivalent to an egg. So I'm going, wait a minute, what's the price of my eggs? So this is $7 Canadian, and my fancy eggs are $4.85 for a dozen. I think I've got a lot more than a dozen eggs in here. What do you think? I don't know how many tablespoons there are in 340 grams, Jody. How many tablespoons in 340 grams? I should have checked that out. But what it says here, for all your baking needs, cookies, pancakes, muffins, and more. I'm going to be doing some more research into that. So that's what I thought you would be interested in. The other thing that I wanted to show you is I'm busy doing gardening stuff. And by the way, my little baby geranium here, I'm going to need to clear a bit of glass here for you. Get the condensation off, is working beautifully. And for those of you who don't know what I'm up to, I'm busy doing experiments with lettuce. And so that is about 8 lettuce plants in there, which is really good. And this is going really well as well. So that's good. And Jody, can you see this far enough? Okay. That was last Friday. This was this Friday, got to there, and now look how big, and now look how big he is again. 22 tablespoons, 22.6, let's call it 23. Let's be really generous there. So you're saying 23 eggs in a packet, the equivalent of 23 eggs. All right. So what I'm trying to say is that's a cost saving, as long as you can get it. It took me about a month to get it, Jody. I kept trying. And then when I did get it, I ordered 2 packets, which I've got. But I'm going to be ordering more now that I know what it does. That's very kind of you. Thanks, Sandy. You can tell me here, but then I will forget about it. And I will forget to put it in for next week, Sandy. That's why I would really appreciate it if you could talk to me a bit about it so that I can, give you credit and pass it on to the rest of the viewers. I'm not sure if any of you have had any job losses. I want to tell you that somebody in my circle just got offered a job about 2 weeks ago, and was so excited. And yesterday they pulled the job off her back again, or Friday. They pulled the job off her back and said, no, we're not going to be employing, and probably won't until January. So I think that's going to be a problem for a lot of people coming up. And so if you know anybody that has lost a job, be grateful if you have one, be grateful if you don't need one, and be very aware of the challenges for those who have lost a job. It was said that you should walk as if you are kissing the earth with your feet. And I know some of you are saying, I'd love to be able to walk. All right. But that to me was just a lovely feeling of lightness and peace, and to be able to kiss the earth with your feet. Get yourself grounded, and you can navigate even the stormiest roads in peace. How many of you have found that you are probably handling this pandemic better than you would have done because you have learned how to ground yourself better, how to be prepared, not scared, how to do the best you can with what you've got, to be grateful for all that you have on a daily basis. And I want to tell you, to me, that is the greatest gift that you can have, if you can do that. And if you have any stories around how you keep yourself grounded, what is your process now that works for you? Because maybe somebody else needs to hear it. And I'm just going to carry on reading quotes because it takes a bit of time for people to be able to get typing and type back to me. Be like a tree. Stay grounded, connected with your roots. Turn over a new leaf. Bend before you break. Enjoy your unique natural beauty and keep growing. One of the greatest things I love about doing DearMamaSal is everybody that is here is somebody who's interested in growing. Hi, Chris. Good to see you. Chris is saying, I've been laid off since March. Right. So, and that was not furloughed. That's totally laid off, right? Yeah, some people, and tell me, Max, are you on, are you getting some sort of unemployment benefit at all? One of the things I was saying to the friend of mine who just lost that job was, I really encourage you. The hotel is closed, really. Yeah, it's amazing. I was saying to my friend, Matt, Chris, that imagine that you could start your career all over again. What would you like to do? And because I think in a way, if you look at this in the right way, if you look at it in the present and don't think about the past, you go, boy, if I've got this opportunity to start my career all over again, what would I really like to do? And, there are people that have been engineers and goodness knows what else, that maybe would prefer to be cutting hedges or, being an artist or doing whatever. Hi to Amel, Anthony, Asher. Oh, she knows. So to me, it is really how you look at this. You could look at this in a totally different way. Okay, you're getting $8.75 a week in unemployment and $1.94 in food stamps. Wow. So You know how lucky you are? You know how many people around the world, you know, um, would love that? How many people? I was thinking about when I was going, where are my grapes when I want them? And I was thinking, Sal, how many people would love to be able to get grapes at all? And so, as Benji would say, it's a first world problem. But if you are getting disability, not disability, if you are getting unemployment, be grateful you live in a country that gives it, because how many people around the world have been laid off and don't have that ability to have unemployment insurance? Right, it's interesting. Jeannie paints this beautiful picture. Our long deck is a blessing. Yes, I love my long deck as well. My Our long deck is a blessing. Misty, that's her beautiful Wheaton Terrier, goes back and forth chasing the chipmunks, but never catching them, while York, her husband, sits out and reads. I also sit and read with Misty. We watch the birds at our two feeders. The birds must wonder, why do they keep leaving us food so that dog can chase us? Yes, and again, be grateful, Jeannie. And by the way, for those of you who weren't here on Friday, just to let you know, we did do the broadcast on Friday evening and I was showing people how I make my own dishwasher tabs. And so if any of you are interested in that, just check out that video that we did. It's under the DearMamaSal channel. So no, it's okay, Nyasha. Don't worry about it. We did do a test of the Google meeting again yesterday, and for those of you who couldn't make it, that's fine. Don't worry about it. No problem at all. And for those of you who have been anxious, remember that it is not possible to be anxious if you stay in the moment, right? If you are anxious, it means you're worrying about something in the future, or the results of something in your past. The truth is to be grounded, to be happy, be grounded. Let's put it that way. The same as I've always said, if you want to get yourself out of depression, do something, right? That's the way I ended up getting out of depression, was I realized that instead of sitting and feeling sorry for myself, it's a really good idea to get up and do something. And I started doing little 10-minute tasks, and I still, to this day, if ever I find myself sort of getting a little bit I go, time for a 10-minute task, get up and do something right now. And it's amazing. Stay humble, stay grounded. Remember what got you to the level, and that's hard work. It is hard work to stay grounded. I'm laughing because it reminded me, it is hard work not to eat carbs in my case. I did so well yesterday. I was so proud of myself. I literally got all the way to midnight and I hadn't eaten carbs. And somewhere between midnight and 2, something else happened. Yeah. Okay, ML saying, when I'm depressed, I don't feel I want to do anything. That's exactly it. Yes, ML. And that's why when you are depressed, take control of your mind. Take control of your mind. That's what I did. That's what I learned to do. Interestingly, Ash was saying it's hard, Mama Sol, to let go of thinking of the future. I've been learning this week to let it go. Let it go, let it go, in order to limit the stress. Of course it's difficult. Yasha, nobody here that finds it easy. I assure you that nobody here finds any of this learning easy. All right? It's the ice maker. So think about that. We're not doing things that are easy. We are doing things together as an extended family. We are supporting each other and making difficult choices. Jody was telling me that she is waiting for their anniversary on Wednesday, and then she is seriously getting back on track with her eating plan. All right. And so nobody finds this easy, and we all make mistakes. I, to my horror, just saw how much weight I've put back on, and quite honestly, I thought I'd had a good week. But guess what? No. And so I need to do some very serious compensation to get my weight back. I was this far away from a major milestone, and now I'm this far away from a major milestone. So I would like to say that if you think growing emotionally, getting more emotionally intelligent is easy, I don't know where I ever suggested that. I don't think it is. But if you want to be happy, if you want to get rid of anxiety, if you want to stay out of depression, if you want to survive, it is a really good idea to deal with just today. It is said, Rumi said, that very little grows on a jagged rock. Be grounded. Be crumbled. So wildflowers will come to where you are. Nice picture. Interesting. This is a quote about being depressed, and it says, being depressed is like being grounded. You know, when you were grounded as a kid, it's like being grounded, except it's your brain running your life instead of your mom. That is so true. All right, so Jeannie is saying some churches are opening soon, but ours is not because it has not received proper cleaning supplies to be used after each Mass. I feel okay about this and watch Mass live streaming from one of our churches. Yes, that's what Jody and Lionel do as well. And for those of you who notice that I talk about Jody quite a bit, she is our admin, and she does such a wonderful job. And I get to talk to her on a very regular basis. But I want to tell you that, as I said on Friday, just because you're allowed to mingle, please just be aware there are going to be more idiots out there than ever before. In a way, the risk is almost higher now than it was before. So not only know that you cannot control the idiots, nor should you try, because that's just going to get you in a fight you're not going to win. The only thing you can control is yourself. And I agree with you, Jeannie, which is just because your church may be open doesn't mean that you should go there. And I know that Jody and Lionel have decided to stay watching the Masses from home. And I am certain that that will be totally understood by your church. Jody's saying, it's my job to keep myself on track, nobody else's. But I'm asking for a 2x4 if Sal sees my numbers slipping. No, actually, Jody, the trick is you will give yourself a 2x4. I nearly asked for somebody to keep track of something I was doing, and I went, who am I kidding? I don't need somebody to track that for me. I need to do it for myself. You know, if I'm asking somebody to be responsible for it, then I am not doing that for myself. Yes, Jody is confirming that. Jeannie, we are continuing church at home, and yes, it is a spiritual communion. Okay, so Amel saying, sometimes I like to be depressed because you feel so good and better when you cry. I want to tell you something. I'm not sure if I do. I've got to be quite honest with you. I cry for a number of reasons, or used to. I used to cry because I was frustrated. I used to cry because I felt sorry for myself. I used to cry because I was angry. And it was better to cry than to say what I wanted to say. So, when I think about it now, I don't cry nearly as much as I used to. Yes, Jeannie, a good point. Jeannie's saying, we took a ride today and saw plenty of folks with no masks. We stayed away from them. That's your control. That's what you can do. This achieving the center, being grounded in oneself, is about the highest state a human being can achieve. Bruce Lee said that, right? This achieving the center, being grounded, not worrying about everything else. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Stop being ruler of the universe. Yasha's saying, I've been listening to a podcast, and if I understand it correctly, an individual must stop being emotional and live in the moment. How am I supposed to do that? I am an emotional person. Boy, Yasha, and so am I. Very emotional person. But that is what all this learning emotional intelligence is about. And you're not going to get it in a week. It is a journey. It is not, I can't give you the magic pill. You keep coming to the broadcast as you do and keep learning little bit by little bit how to get happier. And most of it is not living in what you wish would happen, but living in what is happening, not wishing that people would change, realizing the only person who can change is you. All these little things that we talk about on a weekly basis are going to help you. And Yesha's saying, I'm now applying all and everything that I have learned. And now I am finally going to be writing down some notes in order to keep becoming a better me. I do not need to go back to what happened. Yeah. And you know something? I've been on this journey since I was 20. That's interesting. Emil says, I go to the gym and I cook. I'm probably not at the gym, right? It does feel good, yes. And that's the whole thing. The whole thing is to distract your mind away from concentrating on depression or concentrating on anxiety. One of the tricks that some of you have learned is you cannot be in anxiety if you can count. So one of the tricks that they teach you is, number one, I have a red kettle. Number two, I have red and black kitchen tools. Number three, I have red and black tea towels. Number four, I have a black Keurig. Number five, now that I think about it, I am wearing red, white, and black shoes. So you understand, when you can count, you're in the present. And if your mind goes, yes, but, blah, 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 as soon as you hear your mind go, yes, but, you will know that your mind took control. To be grounded in an attitude of compassion is to be capable of receiving and welcoming the suffering, which the other is giving to us. This does not mean that we suffer for them, but we offer them possibilities. One of the things that Jody had to learn didn't have to, she chose to, when we first met, was how not to live everybody else's drama. How to let go of other people's drama. You can listen to it for a little while, but don't take it on. And one of I remember early on asking Jody, do you like being an emotional pretzel? because all the time, you are turning yourself inside out to try and be the best for other people instead of being the best for yourself. Yasha is asking, Sal, can the mind be reconditioned after 35 years? Oh, yeah. I want to tell you the mind can be reconditioned after 70 years if you choose to. It is just that you choose to do it. You choose not to dwell on what you can't do. You dwell on what you can do. What can I do today? It's not about I don't feel well enough to do everything today. Yeah, but what can I do? Can I get up and brush my teeth? Because that would be a sign of mental health. Can I go and shower? Because if so, that would be a sign of mental health. Amel's asking, what does it mean to recondition? For those of you who don't know, Amel joins us from Tunis in North Africa. To recondition, that is to say that this is what your mind is used to, and what you're doing is reprogramming your mind. Does that make more sense? So it doesn't automatically go to those negatives all the time. It's not about what you can't do. What can you do? Listen to the ice maker. And normally I don't have the ice maker making that much noise, but I emptied it because Dougie is coming, and I put cold ice water for him so that he can have it while he's helping. He's going to weed whack a bit of my garden. All right, so Jeannie's saying maybe you can get help from a therapist, or maybe you can talk to yourself. Not everybody lives in a country where therapy is available. And that is one of the things. Both Nyasha and Amel live in countries, not necessarily known for their acceptance of mental health issues. And so that is, again, our luxury, that we do have that ability. Not everybody does. But it's a nice thought, Jeannie. Emotionally, I stay healthy by being grounded in the Word of God, being open and honest, never being afraid to speak my mind in love, and having good communication with all those around me. I think it was quite a shock to me when I realized I'd always considered myself a pretty honest person. But when I really started to work on my inner peace, I realized that I didn't tell the truth quite a bit. I didn't tell the truth because I would be trying to say something nice instead of the truth. And it's amazing once you start actually dealing in truth. You don't have to be cruel or nasty or rude, but when you start dealing in truth, you don't lie. And when you don't lie, there is great freedom in that. Yes, Ginny's saying if you keep doing the same thing, you'll keep getting the same results. So if the way you're living your life is bringing you depression, or if the way you're living your life is bringing you anxiety, then it's a really good idea to start looking at how can I change my life and not create this for myself. I think that some of you have learned that you used to create your own drama, right? By not controlling your boundaries, by not, by giving people space in your mind that really didn't deserve to have space. Your mind is not a hotel. Jody's saying, it sure can, Yasha. I found Sal when I was in my 40s, and I am blessed to say that she's helped me learn to live my life with the best interest in mind, my best interest in mind, instead of just to please everybody else first. You're doing a much better job of it. Nyasha's saying, Jeannie, I do talk to myself on a regular basis, but it would seem like I was saying the wrong things. Now I'm on a journey to find the right words and living a life of change for the better. One step at a time. Remember that, Nyasha. You are doing great work. I really have to say that, it's not perfection, but you are taking the steps in the right direction. You're telling us that all the time. Emil saying, like you see a girl happy with her clothes and she asks you if you like it, but it isn't you. You need to say it's beauty. Well, I don't know. I've changed that, Emil. When people come to me and say, do you like my new haircut? I will say, I wish I could say I did. But right now, I know I'm going to get used to it after I've seen it a bit. I'm still tied into the old haircut. So give me a while. Right. And I go, I wish I could tell you I did. And they laugh at me and they go, yeah, that's what you would say. That's why I asked you. So, and, if somebody's wearing a dress, they'll say to me, do you like my dress? And I'll go, you know something? Who cares whether I like it? The question is, do you like it? Because it's your dress. And if you like it and you feel good in it, that's the most important thing. Yes, Jeannie's saying, I've discovered new things about myself in my 40s. Then everything changed for me for the better. Yes, that's why we all, we all grow. And imagine, I keep imagining, what if I had known what I know now when I was in my 20s or 30s? My life would have been very different, but I probably wouldn't be here helping people. So Niasha's asking me, how would you respond to someone who manipulates you into purchasing something by asking, so you want to block my blessing? Nobody makes you do anything, Niasha, unless they've got a gun to your head. Right? They may manipulate you, but if somebody manipulates you, it's not their problem, it's yours. You allowed yourself to be manipulated or emotionally blackmailed or whatever. You didn't have to buy it. One of the things that I keep warning people about with all that's going on with the pandemic, there are more and more people scamming people right now. So be very careful, right? Talking with my friends and family every day helps keep me grounded and connected to home. They are the most important things to me. I did something quite unusual yesterday. I got a call that I missed because I picked up the phone that battery had died. And I went rushing to get the second phone, which had a full battery. And by the time I did, I missed the call. And I did something really unusual for me. I immediately called back, but I did it on a video call. And I'm so glad that my instinct was right, because the person was so shocked that, that I did a video call. And I said, something told me I need to see your face and see your reactions. I want to know what's going on. And, I'm glad I did it because it was the right thing to do, as it so happened. Yes, so when phone people ask me, they've got a trick where they say, oh, we know that you normally give to us, and therefore I go, no, I don't normally give to you. Nice try, but no, I don't. But Jeannie's saying, when phone callers ask me to give money to a cause, I reply, I do not do business over the phone. Sorry. Yes, I use that a lot as well, Jeannie. What I normally say is, I have one charity that I give to, and it's not yours. And, that's your right. So anybody manipulates you, that is on you, not on them. Do you understand that? Cannot blame other people for manipulating you. You allowed them to do that. When adversity strikes, this is from LL Cool J, funny enough, when adversity strikes, that's when you have to be the most calm. Take a step back, stay strong, stay grounded, and press on. Hi, Kaz. Good to see you. I want you all to just think about how many things you have blamed others for that you can now see were really just your own actions that you didn't want to own. That is, we talk about that every week. I am grounded. My spirit is grounded deep in the earth. I am calm, strong, centered, and peaceful. I am able to let go of fear and trust. I am eternally safe. I am worthy of all things beautiful. Kez is saying, when I get a call from a charity, I tell them that I can't for the moment, and I will donate on their website when I can. And then they will come back, right, Kez? They'll go, yes, but, and you go, no, 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 yes, but. Thank you for your call. Have a good day. Stay safe. Flying starts from the ground. The more grounded you are, the higher you will fly. It is said that being grounded is a state of being fully conscious and present in the moment. This means that no matter what is going on around us, we stay balanced, centered, and aligned with our soul and our true self. And, I want you to really think about that. I have little sayings that I say to myself because, I will try to do something like edit a video or do whatever, and things will start going wrong. And it isn't that I did something wrong. It is just like the universe gets in the way. And one of the things that I say to myself is, it takes as long as it takes. Yes, but I don't have another 4 hours to redo this. Sal, it takes as long as it takes. And I remind myself that I have a choice. I have a choice to stop, or I have a choice to go on. Because life got in the way, I cannot control that. What I can control is whether I keep going or not. Well, interesting. Yasha's saying, I realized I've been too soft-hearted while being in a tough world. I still keep my nice ways, but only to those who are the same. It's interesting, Nyasha, because I believe that you will have found true grace when you can learn to continue to be nice to those who are not the same. And that's, that's another step altogether. But when you learn these skills at a deeper level, you will start realizing that you can actually, do the same for people that you don't like as much as the ones that you do. And that is real mastery, in my view. My roots inspire me to grow being grounded, right? So for those of you who found that, staying true to who you are, having, your own ethics and sticking to them, having your own world, and playing within it. It is really important. And, for some of you, it is having your own religion and keeping to its edicts. For some of you, it is grounded. And I believe that is why so many people do have faith, is it gives them something to be grounded with. My faith teaches me this, and therefore I choose to do that. And it's amazing how many people can do that with their faith, but sometimes can't do it with their own lives. It's interesting. Niasha's saying, by the way, Sal, I just want to let you know, these 2 weeks have been the best out of my 35 years of existence. Wow. That is awesome. I'm really pleased to hear that. Now, this is a really interesting test for some of you. Being grounded enough to release people from my life with love. I think a lot of you who are regulars will have had that experience where you realize that this person in my life causes me a great deal of drama, or their drama, just upsets my calm, and that you are able to release them and let them do their thing. If you want to be in this level of drama or anger or whatever, that is your right. But I choose not to take it on. And some of you have been able to do it physically, where you literally disconnected from that person. And some of you are not able to do that. Some of you, that person is within your family and you can't disconnect from them. But you can't do it physically necessarily, but mentally, you can find a different space. And when they start doing whatever, the whole thing is just don't react to it. Just go, thank you for your opinion. Well, I think you're da 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 da. Thank you for your opinion. Well, thank you. I heard you, and I will give it some thought. And if you can do that, if you can stay calm, what is the expression? If you can stay calm when all around you are losing theirs. Yeah. Jeannie's saying, my father-in-law died at 89 several years ago. He disliked me because of the religion I started with. My parents taught me to be polite to elders. I was always decent to him. Yeah. And, we were taught that. Some of us were taught that, you are polite to your elders. And I think that is not a bad thing, to be polite to anybody, right? I believe that the ultimate is when we can be polite to everybody, regardless of what they're doing to us. I think that's pretty good mental health. I think that's pretty good emotional intelligence, because it means you're not letting them ruin your day. Right, Jeannie's saying that her husband dislikes his father's attitude. Yeah, we all have people in our lives that we don't like how they think, and some of them are our family. I assure you, I am well challenged. Right, and Jeannie's saying, I did not want to stoop to his level. Yeah. Right, and this is like, hey, you're entitled to your opinion. I will defend your right to have your own opinion any day. I have said to so many people, I understand you want me to change, But isn't that my choice, not yours? Candace Cameron said, emotionally, I stay healthy by being grounded in the world of God, in the Word of God. Oh, I think we've already had that one. It came up a second time. Now listen to this one. Gloria Wendroff said, you do not have to be loyal to that which does not nourish you. Hi, Jamie. Right? You don't have to be loyal to something that doesn't nourish you. And loyal in this case means that you don't have to keep, something in your life that doesn't make your life a better life. All right. And some of you have allowed people to really mess with your brains. Alison Eastwood said, I was fortunate enough not to grow up in Hollywood, so I feel that it was a blessing. Being surrounded by nature and animals always kept me grounded and happy. My parents were smart to keep me and my brother away from all that nonsense. I do live in the LA area now, but I keep my balances by hiking in the mountains with my dogs. And taking something rides every week on my horse, trail rides on my every week on my horse. Yes. How many of you know that if you have some sort of hobby that takes you out of yourself, out of your house, out of your environment, whatever, difficult now with social distancing, but even to leave the house and go and do yoga, or leave the house and go and be with nature, to leave the house and be, it is about changing your environment. It is very important. And to be as one with nature. I want to tell you that there are times that I have gone for a walk and made sure I was away from a lot of people. And then I had a scream. Yeah, I literally would scream because I could feel all that tension inside me and I wanted to let it go. And, or I had anger inside me and I wanted to let it go. And so, I don't do it near other people, by the way, and I haven't done it for a long time. But, there was that time in my life where everything seemed to be so dramatic. I was in a period of about 1 year, so many really amazingly difficult things emotionally happened to me. And I really had problem dealing with it all. I don't mind telling you. Tony Stewart said, when I go home, it's an easy way to be grounded. You learn to realize what truly matters. So, for some of you, this self isolation has taught you what truly matters to you. Can any of you give me any feedback on that? I'm finding I'm really enjoying the peace and quiet. Got to be quite honest. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And there's part of me that's thinking I probably won't be in a rush to go back to running around like I was and doing so many things. I'm rather liking my new routine. And so to me, it is like, what is important in your life today may not be important in your life tomorrow. It all depends on your growth. Michael Gruber said that it turns out that people who are grounded and secure don't change much under stress, because that is what grounded means. Jeannie's saying, my drama today, I reached up for a can on a high shelf and the can fell on my lip. Ouch. And I bled. My lip is still a bit swollen. York ran to help me. Yes, aren't you lucky to have York in your life, that he could run to help you? And by the way, what was the lesson you learned about getting cans off high shelves? Sometimes it's worth the extra time to get something to stand on before you try and do that, unless you like the drama of a split lip. Interesting. Sandy's saying, I feel like isolation has helped me deal with my father's loss on my own terms. Yeah, exactly, Sandy. You know, it's a blessing in a way, because I think if your busy life had continued, you wouldn't have that time for grieving that you have. Yeah. Sandy's saying it would have been harder with people coming to me. You know, it's funny, Sandy, that is why I have stayed away from my dear friend Yvonne. And what I said to her, you will know when you want me there. You know I'm always here if you need me, but you will know when it's time for me to come and sit opposite you, and you know that I will cry. Let me know when that is. I don't want to come because I want to. I want to come because it's time for you. Kez is saying, I had to end a relationship last year because he would constantly say that his bad reactions happened because of what I said to him. And then I told him, I do not control your reaction. You do. Yes, Kez, well done. You are only responsible for your own behavior, not somebody else's. Well done. I'm very proud of you. Jamie's saying that she's learned not to take anything for granted, or anybody. You know, I found that to even, to be able to go to a funeral, don't take that for granted. To be able to get grapes, don't take that for granted. Things are going to change a lot more any minute now. It is possible for you to do whatever you choose, if you first get to know who you are and are willing to work with the power that is greater than ourselves to do it. I don't mind telling you, although it's not easy, that when I truly got to work on who I wasn't really quite as nice a person as I thought I was. I was way more opinionated than I thought I was. I was way more judgmental than I thought I was. I was into conditional love a lot more. I still had moments of that. And so, when I really get down to it now, I know that, yeah, getting honest with myself meant understanding that I was not quite such a nice person after all. But I am who I am. And that's more than enough to make a difference. Sandy said, it helped me to have people be normal towards me online and at a distance. Yeah. One of the things I have done, Sandy, is to make sure that I've kept my communication with Yvonne normal. I'm not constantly asking about how is she doing, da, 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 da. I'm just treating her as a normal person. And when I say as a normal person, I'm not treating her as somebody who's deep in grief, which I know she is. I'm staying who I am so that she can have those moments of being who she is. So thank you for confirming that. Jody's saying, I've realized that connecting with my friends is a major part of my life, and it's so important to me. Also, the crafting aspect in my sewing masks has been a blessing to help with the arthritis. If you don't use it, you lose it, right? And you know, I am amazed. You have actually inspired me to consider, I'm looking in my craft room. Oh, by the way, I want, for those of you who've been following my journey of unpacking, for those of you who don't know, I moved here about 4 months ago. You will remember that when I got here, my craft room, the boxes were up above eye level, and they were like 6 deep and probably 5 wide. That was just those boxes, not the ones in my bedroom or in my studio or in my storage shed, the ones in my craft room, that many. And I'm pleased to tell you that today I was looking at it and going, wow, I am down to 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes that I haven't sorted in my craft room. I've still got more than 4 because I've got subcategories going on, but I have only got, I think, 3 or 4 that I haven't sorted yet. And that feels so good. Miash is saying, it's the sad and painful part of this pandemic, not being able to attend our deceased loved one's home. And my best friend and childhood nurse died and was buried last week. Yeah, we are sorry about that. But you know, everybody will understand. It's not that you didn't go because you didn't want to. You didn't go because it was not safe. And this quote, if I could give you one key and one key only to a more abundant life, I would give you a sense of your own worth, an unshakable sense of your own dignity as one who is grounded in the source of the cosmic dance, as one who plays a unique part in the unfolding of the story of the world. How many of you realize that you are unique? You were given everything you need to be happy. Wasn't it in the song The Gambler, right? You play the cards you're given, not the ones you wish you had. What makes a good card player is not somebody who always gets the best cards. It is how they play the ones they are given. And so each of us have some interesting cards. Some of us have illness cards, and some of us have mental challenge cards, and some of us have poverty cards, and some of us have age cards. You know, we all have these funny cards. But what makes us incredible people is how we play them. And remember that. You know, and Sandy's saying, I'm sorry, Nyasha, yes, we could not fly to Europe in his last days, right? And you understand that. It's not out of wishing, it is that you couldn't. Right? And you, quite honestly, hi Sharon, what you realize is these decisions that you made these decisions to save people's lives, not to take them. I still think that quote, which is, we are loosening up the restrictions because there is more room for you in ICU now. I mean, that is about as straight as it comes. Be very careful. Expect the idiots not to wear masks. Expect the idiots not to socially distance. but you do everything you can to stay safe. Cory Becker said, there are themes in life which are consistent. In Judaism, Islam, Hinduism, of being grounded in who you are and being engaged in an unjust world. Being grounded helps you deal with things that are not fair. I always love that speech that Bill Gates gave, a commencement speech, where he said, life is not fair. When he gave them about 20 things that he wanted them to know that he had learned. Number one, life is not fair. Things don't happen easily. Success comes to those who don't quit, all right? It was said that he was a very well-grounded human being. He's very respectful of others, his teammates, opponents, and adults with whom he deals. He has become a good student. His parents deserve all the credit in the world. He's a fine person and not just a fine baseball player. That will carry him a long way. I think when we look at some incredibly famous people, some of them are really nice human beings. They stayed grounded. They went to work and became famous, you know what I mean? But they still stayed grounded. And when you hear some of the stories, it is beautiful that some of them never forgot where they came from and how they got to where they went, and they stay true to that. They still visit their old friends. They still, play, pick up basketball and stuff with people, and it's just like it's so beautiful. I think. Feeling anxious? Do a grounding tool. Look around you. Find 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. It's called grounding. It's helpful to do it whenever you feel anxious. And I found that for me, and what I say to people is, if you can't remember all those different things, it's easy just to count things. I can see I have got, 1 red kettle. I can see I have 3 tea towels. When you're doing that, you have to be in the present. And that is the truth of it. Always be grounded. Don't put your head up in the clouds, because one day we all have to die and be part of the ground. I think that one of the greatest lessons I had to learn, and some of you may relate to this, I hope somebody does. I understood it all intellectually. I'd read the books. I went, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I get that. But emotionally, it was like I never understood it emotionally. So my head understood it, but my heart didn't. And then some of you will be struggling with that. And I do want to tell you that if you do keep working on yourself, it gets easier. I thought this was cute. If being grounded is important, Stay away from Prince Charming because he will sweep you off your feet. That actually is very clever. Yoga is a dance between control and surrender, between pushing and letting go. When to push and when to let go becomes part of the creative process, part of an open-ended exploration of your being. And I found it really interesting when I started doing yoga this week again, just how tense my body is, just how much my muscles have atrophied, and just how scary that is to me. And yet, I also learned to be very patient with myself. When the woman, when the woman doing the yoga leant over and touched the ground, and the best I could do was to lean over, and if I stretched a bit, get to my knees. And if I tried to go to the ground, for sure I was going to fall over. I laughed and went, this is a goal, not a reality right now. I will need to do an awful lot more work before getting to the ground is a possibility. Or, I was watching her, sitting down with her legs straight, and she was straight. And I'm sitting on the ground with my legs straight, and my back was like this. There's no way I could get up straight. And then she leant forward and touched her toes. And I'm going, I can't even get straight, never mind lean forward and touch my toes. But you see, I could laugh at that and say, imagine how I'm going to feel if I ever get that far. Nyasha says, I am a bundle of nerves. I get out of control very easily at the slightest taunt. I am easy to manipulate and take advantage of. So if I'm going to change all of this, that grounding process would take me a long time to learn. Yeah, it does take a long time, Nyasha, and that's why I said this is lifelong learning. It's not a quick pill. That's why we do it every week. That's why we talk all around it. We repeat things over and over again because one day it's going to click and it's going to make sense to you. Sharon says, if she'd been watching that lady, she would have applauded her and changed channels. I actually, Sharon, you can probably imagine I talk back to the television quite a bit. When she says, and lean over and touch your toes, and I go, yeah, right. Or she'll say, get on the ground. And then immediately she's saying, and I go, wait. I just can't drop to the ground anymore. It takes me a while. I actually really thought about maybe recording what happens to me versus what she's telling me to do, because quite honestly, it is, you can imagine, that getting to the ground takes me a long time, And it had to just getting to the ground to actually turn and sit and get my legs in the right place. That takes a whole other series of actions for me. And so, it's not easy. Nyasha's saying, by the way, what do you call individuals like me who get out of control easily? I'm asking because I want to research the term and find ways which I can make that change. As I said to you, I would keep looking and studying emotional intelligence. Quite honestly. Because really, that's what all of this is. Keeping control of yourself is emotionally intelligent. Yeah, Jeannie's saying your sense of humor goes a long way. Yeah, it keeps me, I go, just hold on 1 second. What I like, though, is that I've now got it on my new television and I can pause it, and I go, hold on 1 second. where's my clicker? And of course, then I can't find the clicker. The clicker is over there, and I've got to crawl on my hands and knees to go get the clicker and stop her. And then I go back and I get in the right position. I go, now I will listen to you. And then she'll say, and then get up. And I'm going, you've got to be joking. I've just spent 10 minutes getting down and you want me to get back up again? Sharon's saying by the time I got into the pose, she'd be 2 moves ahead. Yeah, absolutely, Sharon. We talk the same language. But it is, keeping the sense of humor is very important. It is better to have but little knowledge with humanity and understanding than great learning which might make you proud. For a person's merits are not to be estimated by having many visions or by knowledge of the Bible or by being placed in a higher position, but by being grounded in true humility and by seeking always purely and entirely the honor of God. So it's amazing, isn't it, how many of these grounded quotes bring us back to faith. Most humans are never fully present in their now because unconsciously they believe in the next moment that the next moment must be more important than this one. But then you miss your whole life, which is never, not now. If you cannot enjoy today, what makes you think you're going to enjoy tomorrow? That's cute. Jody's saying about the yoga thing, I would have paused it to call the EMTs to help get me up. Yeah, getting up is, but that is what I decided, Jody and Sharon. What I decided is when I can get up or down at the speed that she needs me to, I will know that I have done a lot of hard work, right? And that is part of the reason why I'm doing it, because I realize if I were to fall, then the getting up is going to be critical. And the funny thing that I found, let me get a chair. I want to show you guys something. I just want to make sure you can see me. Okay. Get back a bit. What I found was really strange. She said, sit on a chair, your knees and ankles together. And I want to tell you, getting my knees together was difficult. I had to push my knees together. And to actually get my feet on the ground, my knees together, and sit up straight. If I try to sit up straight, my heels come off the ground. So what I've discovered is another benchmark. Could you hear me as I describe that? Good. So do you understand that for some reason my hips have, instead of being straightforward like this, my hips have done this. And that's why I can't get my knees together. So I've got to get my hips rotated round. And I can't think of a better thing to do that than doing yoga. But it really did. I was quite shocked. I went, I can't sit with my knees together and my ankles together and be straight. I can't do it. But I will if I keep practicing it. Jody is reminding me to do the countdown. And let me do that quickly. Thank you, Jody. You know, I wasn't ignoring you. Valentine's Day, for the romantics out there, is 8 months and 25 days away. Christmas is now only 214 days away, and you need to get your Christmas cards in the mail in 6 months and 10 days. Those are the ones that are going overseas. If you are in the US or celebrate US Thanksgiving, you have 6 months and 5 days to work out that menu. We Canadians only have 4 months and 20 days because we have ours in October, not November. US taxes, you have 1 month and 22 days. And we Canadians only have about 8 days. I thought it was 9, it's 8 days now. For those of you who love the changing seasons, for those of us north of the equator, we have 26 days until summer. 26 days until the days start getting shorter again. And we're heading towards, yeah, right. Anyway, and those of you south of the equator, you have just 26 days until winter. Yeah, Sandy, that's, it's frightening, isn't it? But let's enjoy this every day until then. For those of you who know about Mercury being in retrograde, I just need to give you a heads up that June 18, it goes back into retrograde. So, and for those of you going, what is that? Don't worry about it or look it up. Right? I moved here 4 months and 2 weeks ago. Amazing. And that's a third of a year. And I am slowly unpacking. It's a very slow process. And I want to tell you, I'm learning a lot about me in doing that, I must say. So, I was thinking about the things that are so different here. And I would say the number one thing for me is the temperature of the water when it comes out of the faucet. I am on an artesian well here. And I want to tell you that when that water comes out of the faucet, it is so cold that I can't brush my teeth with it. I can't take my medications with it. I have to have my water in a separate container that is at room temperature because the water, I'm trying to get a thermometer that actually will tell me what that temperature is versus the room temperature one. The thermometer I have got just does, the are you well type scale. But it is amazing how cold that water is. It's just like, yikes. And I when I first saw it, I felt it. It was just like, that is cold water. And you don't really think about it, but it's coming straight out of a well. Yeah, I wondered, Jeannie, whether you have the same problem with your well. Is the well water really cold? And this is like, this is in summer. Imagine what it's like in winter. But I've learned, don't drink water out of a faucet. And drink it out of a container. That's room temperature. Otherwise, you're going to have big problems. So I'm hoping that some of you will have gained something today by us talking about grounding yourself again. Being in the moment. When anything happens this week, please stay grounded. Jean is saying, no, our well goes down 800 feet. Why would it not be cold? Because it's that far away from the core. Interesting. So you're saying that my well water is not as deep as yours. That's why. Interesting. I got to research that a bit. That's interesting. Yes, just saying, Sal, I want to ask, is it normal to feel sad when listening to motivational podcasts? I'm making it my duty now to listen to one each night, but afterwards I don't feel great. Do you not feel great because you're comparing yourself, or why? To me, I'd need to know why you don't feel great. My sense of what you're saying is that when you listen to it, you're constantly comparing yourself and probably beating yourself up because you're not doing what they're telling you to. You see, Nyasha, one of the things that I really do believe is we all are learning at our own speed, and our speed is the right speed for us. And so the fact you're not learning things as fast as you want to isn't that you're doing anything wrong. It's just that you will do things at your own speed. It has taken me a lifetime to understand some of these things, right? I didn't just start doing this yesterday. I started doing this in my 20s, and I keep doing it. Yeah, interesting. Jeannie's mom had a pretty straightforward answer, which was you can be your own best friend or your own worst enemy. Choose. Yeah, and so, Nyasha, I would just like to know, what is it? And you can write to me on that one because I need to close the broadcast, but, just let me know, what is it that makes you feel bad when you listen to a motivational? If I wouldn't listen to something that makes me feel bad, right? I would listen to something that challenges me, that gives me tools that I could use. All right. But I would not listen to something if it made me feel bad. I was talking, Amel, I wanted to ask you, is Amel still here? I haven't seen a comment from her in a while. Because I really did want to say something to her. Let me see if she's still here. Okay, Amel, I wanted to give you an apology. And I know that probably surprises you, but I realized that when we were talking on Friday, I up and gave you a 2x4, and I'm not 100% sure whether you actually asked for help or whether I just gave it to you. Now, Jody seems to think that you did ask for help on what you were doing, but I want to say that in case you didn't, I really do want to apologize, because normally before I give anybody a bit of 2x4 treatment, I ask for permission. And I realize that I did not do that with you. And I hope you will forgive me. And it really has been on my mind ever since. I'm just delighted that you're still here, and I wanted to give you a hug. Because it's just not something I normally do. I don't just let rip. I normally ask for permission first. So you've been on my mind. Okay. So, excuse me. I am off to go and see Doug. Oh, that's cute. She said, I like it very much when you give me advice. That's so cute. Well, I love you too, honey. But I do want to apologize, because I do normally ask before I hit somebody with a 2x4. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for caring enough about each other to be here and to help each other learn. Thank you for your stories, so that everybody can see we're all struggling with this, right? It's not just you. Everybody is struggling to be better at who they are, if they are trying to get better. And it is a struggle. It's not easy. We want to hold on to our ego. We want to hold on to our supposed selves instead of our real selves. A lot of us don't want to see who we really are. A lot of us don't want to see that we're out of control in a lot of things. But for those of us who are prepared to do the work, life is a lot happier once you get control. And so stay grounded. Remember, if you start to get angry or start to get frustrated or anxious, start counting, brings you back into the present. Thank you, Jeannie, for the thanks for the broadcast. I hope it helped a little bit. And Jody's saying, stay safe, everyone. You're all gifts to the world. Nemel's saying, thank you. And for everyone, I feel better when I speak about my problems. We all do, Emel. When we can be honest and talk about them, that's how we learn. It's when we keep them hidden up inside and pretend we haven't got them that we get sick. So good job, everybody. Thank you for caring enough to help one another. And thank you all for taking this much time to be with us. Have a great week. We'll see you on Friday. This is DearMamaSal saying thank you for being here, and bye-bye for now, if I can find the buttons. Bye. I'm still here. Don't you hate it when it doesn't work? Let me try again.